friends, I just finished a jelly plate session, and in case you missed it on the live, I just wanted to share the results from my jelly plate. And I had a great time. It was my second time doing it. And after I had done the pages, I went around and I did the edges, and I actually used tie-dye ink to do that. The tie-dye ink was in a spray bottle, so it made it really easy for me to go around the edges. And some of them I just sprayed the edges, but like this one, I sprayed it and then I rolled it with my brayer just to spread it out. You can see that like on this one, I used pink on one side and blue on the other, just to pull the whole page together, but also at the same time give it some variety. But I'm really happy with how these turned out. This is just a book page, very subtle. I was actually just cleaning up my actual jelly plate, so I used that to do that. So anyway, during my jelly plate session, I used some feathers, and you can see the paint on this side. I used some stencils, and you could probably see the pattern of the stencils here. As you can see, I used my tie-dye ink and just had a really great time. It was a live session that I did with Martha Makes Art. And if you'd like to see, literally all of these pages were recorded on the live. So if you wanted to see how they came together, you can check that out. And I do have a thumbnail that says Creating with Jovi, Martha Makes Art, and I think I said experimenting with jelly plate or something like that. So I'm really happy with how they turned out. Very, very pleased with them. Some of these I will use in a garden journal. Some of them might go elsewhere. This one, it's very subtle, but you can see the outline of a bird here, and then some flowers. And I think what I would do next time is go with white instead of a cream color for the outline of the bird, and then maybe even a little darker than the green, just for the contrast. I like it to be subtle, but it is hard for you to see unless I hold the paper a certain way. You can see it in person. Again, just some more stenciling, and I also did a little bit of stamping with this one. Actually, I think that's upside down. I think it's supposed to go like that. This is another one with the bird. Again, very subtle, but here's the outline of the bird. So again, I think I would try to contrast it a little bit more so that I could see it. Went around it with the pink tie-dye spray, and I love the way it turned out. This was one of my earlier ones that I had done using a stencil, and I really do love the way that this came out. Nice and crisp lines here. I'm very happy with that. Not sure what happened over here, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. Anyway, very happy with how most of it turned out, which is great. This one was probably one of the first ones I used the stamps with. They were just like rubber stamps. So I was just kind of experimenting with that to see how that would turn out. So I spread the paint on the jelly plate and then stamped it with the stamp and then put my paper over it. You can see that this is a little bit of an immature page compared to some of how the other ones turned out, but I still think a good background page. And I didn't do the edges of this one. I think it got lost. My whole desk was covered in papers, and I didn't really finish this one either. The edges aren't done, and it's just kind of boring. But I do love this one. We've got some rooster stamps here. These are 3 of the feather markings here. And I just love how it turned out with the green and the purple, and yeah, I just think it's a lot of fun. Now this is also one of my favorites. It's just stunning on the, what is this, parchment paper, and it was actually, I used this to absorb the paint so that I could do another layer on the jelly plate. And this would be a throwaway, if you will, but it's not. It's beautiful. I love the way it came out. And then on the other side, you can see the edges here, but there's some flowers, and I just love it. I love the contrast. I love it on the brown paper. Super pretty. Now this one I can see through a little bit more from the other side because I used a darker ink, but I think it's okay. You can see the bird here, and I think that turned out pretty. And then this is one that I was experimenting with my stencils and some purple and blue paint, and again, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I could take this, fold it in half, tear the edges right off. be good to go to pop it in a journal. So friends, that was my experimenting with gelliplate. It was only the second time that I've used them. I'm super happy with my results. And like I said, if you want to see how they, how we did the process, Martha and I, just go ahead and check out my video. Thanks for watching. See you soon.